Okay, so Far Cry 5's first DLC, Hours of Darkness, literally took hours to beat.
What a joker!
About 3.5 to be exact with a friend, making the first DLC feel like more of a demo. In fact, the Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon demo on the 360 took me about the same amount of time to beat, about 2 hours or so. So Hours of Darkness felt like a demo. It was so boring. It was literally a single mission with some quests along the way. Now here in Far Cry 5, Someone Ate My Mars bar, we have a whole different setup, and if you don't want any spoilers for this DLC, please don't watch it, even though I haven't beaten it and I'm not going to talk about the end. That's right, I'm reviewing it before I've beaten it, because I didn't beat it in 3 hours. Me and my friend spent the last 3 hours playing it, and I think we're just a little over halfway or a little under halfway, but we have at least another night or two of playing this in order to beat it. This makes it feel like more of a co-op Call of Duty campaign in terms of its length, instead of what is essentially a demo. And here's the thing, and to be honest, it is weird being this positive after my Rainbow Six video. I mean, 2 positive videos in 1 month, I'm sorry I'm letting you guys down. But even if this DLC was as short as Hours of Darkness, at least it's fun and interesting. Hours of Darkness is not those things. Hours of Darkness felt like a demo or a tech demo for Far Cry 3 or 4 or 5. It felt like the raw cocaine of Far Cry in a Vietnam setting. I liked the survival aspect of Hours of Darkness, whereas in here, it has that same type of survival aspect, but you also get to feel like a total badass, and the game doesn't take itself seriously. Basically, the setup is that Herc wanted to flirt with an autonomous artificial space intelligence and ended up being taken to Mars, losing all of his body parts, and you have to help him find his body parts and help this AI use her suspicious robot army to take down groups of alien arachnids. You're set in this area that kind of is like a humongous crater on Mars, and you have these different towers you need to scale and climb. They make a funny joke about that, but the towers are really fun to climb because you have these thruster packs, and the mantling is really good in Far Cry 5. You can hover, you also have like a space wingsuit. It's really cool. And then you have to kill these boss fights. There's like 15 of these queen type boss fight things I'm showing on screen here, and these are really fun to fight. I mean, each one does something different to your gun or whatever, does something different to your stats basically. I'm sure there's only like 3 or 4 variations of the queens, but it is cool that there is any variation at all. And in fact, fighting the queens felt better than killing some Destiny bosses, so that's a cool thing. Like I said, even if it's really short, it's at least really fun. You feel like a badass, you have these cool gadgets and gizmos, and you are punished for being slow or stupid. During my playthrough, I only ran into one glitch where it wouldn't spawn us in on the obstacle course with our space wingsuit, but oh well. I think one of the best things about this, and I don't usually like this too much in video games, that's probably why I'm not really into Borderlands, but the game doesn't take itself seriously, and it's kind of almost a meme in and of itself.
Beam guns. Beam laser. Oh fuck. What'd you do? Oh, Ian! Ian!
Big ass spacecraft!
Spacecraft.
That's awesome. It's referential, it's self-aware, and it doesn't want you to take it seriously, it just wants you to have badass fun. In fact, Herc actually becomes a robot, and the robot will start playing music every time you get into a battle. So you get to jump around and shoot these fucking arachnids with your plasma guns while rocking out to fucking rock and roll. If that's not fun, I don't know what is. The fact that we played it for 3 hours and are not close to beating it, we're not like, you know, in the last mission or anything, we did that for like 3 hours. But when we did Hours of Darkness for 3 hours, we just beat it accidentally and didn't even realize we were beating it. Instead of being an open world adventure in a Vietnam-themed landscape, you are just basically doing a single mission. Again, it felt like a demo, whereas this feels like exploration-based, open world, sandboxy survival sci-fi with a sense of humor to it, which is exactly what I like, which is just perfect for a DLC for Far Cry. Now here's two things. One, my standards might have been so low that I'm easily impressed, and some of you might have played it, or seen gameplay of it, or watching the gameplay here thinking this looks really fucking dumb and generic. I will say what takes it away from feeling generic is when you go into these hallucinations and you go back to like a distorted Montana, and you deal with some of the situations there through hallucinations, so you're actually fighting the cult members with your space gun, and I personally think that's pretty fucking cool. It actually seems to add more weight to the Montana storyline from the main game than the main game did itself. Just the fact that one of the characters from the main game gets taken up into space and is hallucinating about what's going on in Montana, it's like, hell yeah, that's really cool. But the second thing is that I haven't beaten it yet. I will do a follow-up review. That's right, I'm going to squeeze 2 videos out of this DLC, and when I do the follow-up, I will let you guys know if it was worth it in the end, but currently, it's actually fun. I would say, and you know, don't go out and buy it, I haven't beaten it yet, but I mean, I have to say, it's worth playing, and it's worth getting a friend online for, and it's just beautiful to look at. Like, the graphics in Far Cry 5 are really good, and you couldn't really appreciate them too much in the Vietnam one, but you really can appreciate them here on Mars. It kind of feels like Destiny or an Infinite Warfare, but yet somehow much prettier. But this game actually has a weapons shop. You have items you can unlock, there's different types of grenades, power-ups, there's these power gloves that you can charge up and do like epic super punches on people. It's just fucking cool. Like, I know I just sound like I'm gushing, and it's like, boom, where's your critical analytical side? I'm sorry, I expected to be bored, and I'm actually excited to hop on this tomorrow night and play more of it with my buddy. Like, it's really fun. It's really fun, and when I'm done playing it with him, I'm actually going to tell my girlfriend to install this one. I told her, I said, don't even bother with Hours of Darkness. It'll take you 3.5 hours to beat at most if I'm playing with you, and it's not worth it. I will tell her to install this because this is actually pretty fucking sick. So yeah, I don't know, I guess I'm not as good at being positive as being negative. When I'm positive, it's like, whoa, this is sick as shit, you know, this is awesome, this is really fun. And when I'm negative, it's like, okay, here's the reasons that this doesn't work, and here's why I think it's bad, and everything's bad, and I'm really smart. Like, I guess I can't explain to you why it's good, other than the fact it just has a nice tone to it. It just feels fun to play. And fun is one of those terms with games that I kind of started to hate, because people will be like, hey man, it doesn't matter, just have fun. It's like, yeah, no, but the best way I can put this is that it's just satisfying. It's a fun loop, jumping around the aliens and blasting them in their weak spots with cool weapons. And yes, the weapons look a little samey, but it's fine. You know, that's like DLC shit, I can get over that. Might I be disappointed? Will the follow-up video be extremely negative and maybe be in the form of a rant? Possibly. I am a little butthurt that, as cool as this is, I know it's not high art. I know it's not like, whoa, I need to tell people to buy the DLC, you know, the season pass for this. Like, I know it's not that good. And for something I spent 90 bucks on with Far Cry 5, I do feel like I got jibbed a little bit. Like, I genuinely feel like there isn't a reason for me to sit and grind Far Cry 5 unless I'm in the mood for its style of play occasionally. But other than that, it just never roped me in. It didn't rope any of my friends in either. So thank you guys so much for watching this. It has been a pleasure talking to you guys about it, because it's nice that at least currently, I will, even if the DLC at the end sucks and it just felt empty and shallow and shitty at the end, and even if that's what the next video about this DLC is going to be like, the fact that I have 2 nice things to say about 2 different games recently is a good sign, because I don't want to get to the point where I am just an overly critical, ranty channel. Like, I just don't want to be a BD Dobbins or an 8 Thoughts or a Jim Quisition where I just kind of feel like I'm always picking on something, and I do want to talk about the things that I like, and I know they do that as well, but I don't want to be as few and far between with that style of more positive, here's what a good thing looks like kind of content as they are. So even if this DLC ends up being really short, and it might, and maybe I'm closer to the end than I realize, it is really fun. And the experience, even if short, has been very enjoyable. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you when I see you. Goodbye.